Hi, I'm Brantley with the United Way of Utah County, and we're the paratransit service. So what we do is we transport passengers to and from where they need to go and give them that opportunity when they can't do it themselves. Today I'm going to walk you through how we're going to pre-trip this vehicle here. And what we're going to want to do as we do that, we're going to want to touch every single thing, make sure it's secure, anything you can touch to, point to, give any instruction on why that would not work if it were broken. You want to make sure that you go through that. Today we're going to start with our braking system. If you don't do that, you will automatically fail the test and you'll have to come back and do it another day. So let's go ahead and get started with our brake system. Our first test here that we're going to do, we're going to put this into drive and put on our parking brake. Then I'm going to release the brake here. I'm going to lightly tap the gas. And we're not moving. So I know that my parking brake is functioning properly. That's going to hold the vehicle. It's going to keep us secure. My second check here is I'm going to pump my brake here 3 times. Hold for 5 seconds. And I notice that it's not pushing any further back. That means I've got good pressure in my lines. Odds are I don't have a leak anywhere here, but we'll go in and check that in the engine later. The third one is we put ourselves into drive, go 5 miles an hour, and then I hit the brakes. And if the wheel doesn't turn and I don't veer off to a different direction, it means that my alignment is good and that my brakes do work. We're going to check our lighting indicators on our dashboard here. First thing that I'm looking for as soon as I turn this on is there's a little ABS button here. It's lit up right now and then it goes away. So if ever that stays on, I know that I'm going to have to take this to the shop and let my mechanic and dispatch know immediately, because that would be an issue. The other things I want to check while I'm looking here is that are my turn signals working? I've got left, that one's functioning. Right, also functioning. My hazards, those are functioning. My regular lights, functioning. And high beams, those are functioning as well. I want to make sure all of those look good. I can see them, so that way I can indicate to other drivers of what I'm going to do as I'm driving. What I'm going to do here is if you're taking your test, you're going to have your instructor. You're going to ask him to step out of the van and ask him to check for your indicators. You're also going to make sure that your window is rolled down so that your instructor can hear you, and you want to tell him where you want him to be. May I have you please at the front of my vehicle there, just on the driver's side, and would you let me know if these are working for me? We're going to start with just my normal headlights. Left turn signal, right turn signal, high beams, or hazards, high beam, going good. Okay, now if I could have you please walk around the side of this right here, and I'm going to check left turn signal. There's an amber light there if you check that on your way. All right, and then if I could have you on the driver's side at the rear of the vehicle, please. Left turn signal, right turn signal, hazards, brake lights. Thank you so much. As you come back, would you go around the other side and let me know the other amber is working? This will be my right turn signal. Good to go. Next thing that we're going to check, we've got our list here. We've already gone through these top things of our lighting indicators. We're going to now check our windshield and traffic monitoring devices. For us, that would be, I've got my mirrors here, both left and right. I can see that I don't have any cracks or damages on them, so I have a clear view, both of my regular mirrors and of my blind spot mirror on right side. Checking for the same thing over on the left side, making sure there's no cracks, damages, or anything that's going to obstruct my view, as well as this one right here. Make sure I can see clearly out of it and it's adjusted. All these are adjusted to the heights where I can see and it's safe to be. Right here we have this camera. This is a traffic monitoring device that makes sure that we watch everything that goes on in front of us and behind us, keep both of our drivers and other pedestrians safe, making sure we monitor everything. Also want to make sure my entire windshield up here is free and clear of debris, as well as I don't see any cracks running through it. Everything is nice and good to go. We also want to run our nice windshield wipers here. Make sure they make good contact, as well as run the fluid. Make sure I have good spray going anywhere, and that these clear it up and I don't have massive streak marks along here that impede my vision. So right now I can see I've got a clear view, and this helps especially when raining so that I can make good decisions as a driver as I see and are alerted to everything. The next thing we're going to check is we're going to go ahead and turn on the vehicle, and we're going to turn on the heater. And we're going to put it on the mix here because we want to check and make sure that we've got heat going up to our windshield here as well as down here by our feet. You can just put your hand down there and you can feel them going. The reason we want this is because in the wintertime, when it gets snowy and icy, we want to be able to make sure that we have heat going to this. It takes away all of that snow, all of that ice, so we have a clear vision, clear view, and we can keep ourselves and our passengers safe. Last thing we want to check here while we're sitting here is just our horn. Make sure it's properly functioning. Make sure that we can indicate to other people if something's happening, we can give them a little warning. The next thing on our list here, as we're going down our list, we see our emergency equipment. There's 3 things we want to be checking for. Our first one is right here. Now, as I go up these stairs, also, you want to make sure you have 3 points of contact at all times. So over here, I've got our emergency triangles. These go out in case your van ever breaks down. You can set these up. We're going to take these out. We're going to make sure that they are properly working. Caught on a lock there, sorry. So we set these up just like so and put them out on the road. So anytime you're broken down for more than 10 minutes, you're going to want to set these out so that other people and other drivers know that you have something going on. That way we're obeying the law, and while you're on the freeway or any other places, they see this bright orange triangle and it can keep you safe while you're out there. Go ahead and put that back. That's the first thing we want to check, and we want to check all of those, make sure they're all here. We have all 3 and that they're all functioning. Next thing we want to check, we've got a fire hydrant down here. We want to make sure that that needle is in the green line. We also want to make sure that it is within a good date. So this little tag will tell you, it says the year down here and the month up there. These are good for a year from when this was checked. So this was checked in December of 2025. So it's good till December of 2026. Third thing, safety-wise, I'm checking for, usually inside this glove compartment, we've got this little box here. This has got fuses in it. These fuses go inside of that panel right there. We use those just in case any of those blow. So all of our electronic equipment, our lift, any of this, all of those are still functioning while we're out, and we can perform the task of transporting our passengers to and from their locations. All right, one other thing I want to check while I'm inside my van is this fuse box. We can go ahead and open it up. Now I want to make sure I don't see any frayed wires, any loose exposed wires, or any blown fuses. If we have any of those, that could start an electrical fire in the vehicle. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So that's why I'm checking these, making sure everything's good to go. That's also why we have those fuses. In case there is a blown fuse, we can put them in and make it so it's safe for us to drive and operate our equipment. Okay, next on my list here is our passenger and school bus only. So these are for these vans specifically. We have got our passenger seating. So these are our seats here. We want to make sure, number one, that when they're up, we can pull them down. They lock into place like so. And then it's not going anywhere. We can unlock it, drop it down. We want to make sure that this is secure. Our passengers can sit here, nothing's going to happen. We also want to check that our seat belts here are fully functioning. That's going to hold someone as well as this one. And we would go through and check every single one of these seats and seat belts as we go through to make sure, clicks, locks, our passengers are safe. First thing that we check with the seating is all of that. We also want to make sure it's clean, there's no tears, make sure it's nice and comfortable and good for our passengers. The reason we check the seat belts, again, is for safety. If we stop, we have to come to abrupt thing. They're not flying out of their seats. We can keep them safe while on board. Next thing is my passenger monitoring devices while we're here. So my passenger monitoring device is this mirror right here. So as I'm sitting down in there, I want to check and make sure that I can see my passengers as it goes through. This is nice and secure, as well as there's no cracks or damages on here. I have a clear view of my passengers. Emergency exits. We have many emergency exits here on the van. One of these are these windows. You want to pull both of these tabs and push open. Make sure it nice and easily pushes open so passengers can get out in case of emergency. I go around and I would check all of these windows for emergency exits, as well as we've got this one up above. It pushes up like that. So we can use this as a vent if needed, but as well as it's an emergency exit. You just pull this to exit, and then it opens right up. We can pull that back down, make sure it's safe to go. Most people will consider this an emergency exit. This is not an emergency exit, but we do have to make sure it is clear. There is nothing in the alleyway here preventing this door from being opened or closed, as well as we're checking that through this entire walkway, making sure the floors are clear, passengers can get in and out, no problem whatsoever. Our last emergency exit is this front door here. Now, if we have power, we can open it nice and easy with our button down here that opens the door. If not, you're just going to pull this latch up here, and you can just push the doors right open, and that's our last emergency exit. Okay, so I'm going to be checking my passenger lift here. First thing I'm checking, making sure that these doors, handles, everything works properly. This opens safely, and that this door here latches. Make sure that's not going anywhere so that it doesn't fly back on my passengers. And this one stays just right back there. Next thing I'm looking for, any frayed wires, as well as any hydraulic fluid. You look under here, make sure, yep, no frayed wires, no hydraulic fluid. Now, while you're taking the test, you're just going to say that you would deploy this. You put it all the way down, and you put it all the way back up, using these buttons for up, down, and fold and unfold. Making sure that it works properly, works functioning, so we can get our passengers in and out of the van. You do not have to actually do it for your test, but you do want to mention that that's what you would do. All right, as well as make sure no debris, it's all clear to go. No one's going to have any tripping hazards as we get on or off the lift. All right, the next thing I'm going to check here is my first aid and body fluids kit. So this is my first aid kit right here. Again, if I'm ever going in or out of the van, you want to make sure you have 3 points of contact, or it's an automatic fail in your test. Just go up, 3 points of contact. If I'm not moving, I'm good to go. We're going to go down here, open this up. As we get that open, yep, I've got all of my first aid kit here that I would need in case of an emergency with a passenger. Go ahead and close that back up. All right, my blood pathogen kit is up inside the van here. So if you follow me, 3 points of contact. This is our blood pathogen kit. It's got this little tie on to make sure that it has not been used yet. I'll put that back on. We open it up. We've got this body fluid cleanup kit, gloves, and the spill cleaning. We put that out in case anybody has any sort of accident on the bus. We can clean it up, keep ourselves and our passengers safe, because we treat any spill like that as if it were contaminated. We want to make sure we keep ourselves, passengers, everybody safe. Go ahead and close that back up. All right, the next thing on my list here is our external lights. So we've already had our instructor. He went around and checked all of the major ones. So one thing we want to be checking is up here on our top, we've got our amber lights. We want to make sure that all of those are working, as well as, again, checking these ones. Yep, I can see my lights are fully functioning. We will check that as we go around the vehicle for the rest of it, but most of our lights have already been checked by our wonderful instructor. Before I start anything, I want to get down here and I want to look underneath. I want to make sure I don't see any sort of fluid that has dropped, is leaking, could be a potential hazard coming out of our engine bay before we get out on the road. Next thing I'm checking, I'm coming up to our lights here. I want to give them a nice shake, put my hand on them, make sure I don't see any cracks, damages, anything like that, because I want to make sure these are fully functioning and staying there, so while we're driving, they don't come off and cause a hazard, as well as no cracks, so that my lights will continue to shine through and allow me to see the road as I'm driving to be safe. All right, next we're going to get inside of our engine bay here. To do that, we're going to go inside here, open this up, and we're going to pull this little lever here. That should open up the engine for us. All right, so there's a little latch right through here. You put your finger through and push up. Put this bar here, sure it holds that, so we're good to go. There's a couple different things we're going to check inside this engine bay. First one here is my steering fluid. So I'm going to look here, and you'll see on your side, you've got two lines here. You've got your max and your min line. You're going to check to make sure that your fluid is in between there and give it a nice shake. Yep, I know that it's good. If you ever find it hard to tell, you can shine a little light behind here, and it lights up the fluid for you so you can see it. Give it a little shake, make sure that that is good to go, as well as I'm looking down through here. Make sure I don't see any leaks, damages, or cracks coming through any of the wires, as well as down there in my steering box. I want to make sure I can see that. It's just right down through there. The next thing I'm going to check is my coolant for our engine, which is right here. So we've got our, again, right here, this is our max line. Your min line is about right here. So we want to make sure that this fluid, you can see, is actually lined right there. It's just below our maximum level. It's good to go. We give it a nice shake, pull. It's not going anywhere, as well as I'm checking these hoses, making sure I don't have any cracks, damages. There's some underneath here too. We're going to make sure everything is good. We don't have any frayed wires, broken, cracked, damages, or leaks coming through this. The last thing I'm going to check right here is our brake fluid. Again, on this side here, you see a max and a min here. We want that fluid level. It's in between there, right there, just below our max level. Again, give it a nice shake. That's good to go. We're going to look underneath it as well, just like all the other ones. And I like to say cracks, damages, and leaks. We're testing for the CDL, and that's what that stands for. We got no cracks within this case. I don't see any damages or any leaks to any of these hoses or any of my controls where all of these are plugging into. No loose anything down there. We're good on that. The last thing I'm going to check here. Now, you would demonstrate by saying you're going to do this on your test. You don't actually have to do it for your CDL test. And that would be our oil. We would check our oil. Now on this engine, it's right back here, our dipstick. You'd reach in, pull that yellow tab all the way out. You'd clean it off, stick it back in, pull it back out. And there's two little notches there. You want to make sure it's in between those notches. That signifies you've got a good oil level, as well as you want to make sure that it is more brown in color than black. If it's black, it needs to be replaced. If it's more brown in color, more amber in color, that means that's good oil, you're good to go. Final thing here, battery. We'll check the other battery for the lift later, but we want to make sure we don't have any frayed wires. We don't have any buildup on any of these. No acid buildup. So this is clear, good to go, and our engine will run and function properly. Next, we've got our steering axle. We're going to check that as well as our steering system. We check some of that from the top, but we can see some more through the side here. So I suggest as you get to your test, when you first get there, after you've done your brake system, when you park the car, go ahead. I'm going to turn this on now because I forgot to do it. But you're going to want to turn whichever wheel you're going to check. Turn it away so that way you can see better inside of it. And now that I have that turned away, go ahead and close that. We can see a little bit better of what we're looking for here. So first thing is I'm going to check just an overlook of this tire. First off, we want to check our thread depth, make sure that that's up to code. Our tire pressure, we want to make sure that that's up to 60 psi. We check that with a tool at base. One thing we want to check here, all of our lug nuts here. We want to make sure that they're nice and tight, as well as I don't see any shiny bits indicating that they've come loose or are wearing down. Right here, inside here, we want to make sure that we've got no fluid leaking from inside this tire. As well as the front tires of any CDL vehicle that you're going to drive. Right here, if it was recapped or regrooved, you see a nice line, meaning they put more on top there. We don't want any recapped or regrooved tires on the front of any of our CDL vehicle. We personally don't put any on them, just make sure you mention that. We're going inside here. So on the front of this vehicle, we have a coil spring suspension. We want to make sure that that's number one attached to the frame here. There's no cracks, damages as it goes down as well. We want good suspension so that we can make it over any potholes, anything like that. So we are safe and good to go with our passengers. It doesn't cause an accident. As well as that's why we're checking all of this for lug nuts, all of that. We don't want a tire to pop off, hurt anybody while we're driving, as well as good pressure so our tire doesn't pop as we're driving with our passengers, keeping us and our passengers all completely safe. So another thing we're checking down here, as you get in back here, you see these bars running through. This is part of our steering system. We want to make sure that all of those, no cracks, damages, leaks, anything like that, as it's running all the way through. As well as back here, we've got our brake. You want to go back there, you want to feel, make sure we don't have any brake contaminants on the brakes causing us to, if we were to apply pressure to our brakes, have us still sliding out, causing us not to be able to stop, resulting in injury to passenger or pedestrian. After we've checked all of our tires, our rims, our lug nuts, springs, we've checked our brakes and brake contaminants, you're done with your steering. Okay, we're going to do the side of our vehicle now because we've done most of this. First thing I want to check, I want to make sure that these are nice and sturdy. These are my lenses, reflectors, all of that. I want to make sure this is good. We already checked this is good. Anything you can touch and point to and make sure it's secure, I would suggest you do that. So we already checked the tire on the other side. We'd be checking the same thing on this one. You don't actually have to do it, but you would tell the instructor that's what you're going to do. We're coming through, we're checking. We have no cracks, damages on any of my windows. They're all good. Here, here, and all the way down this side of the bus, we want to make sure that they are clear of any cracks or damages. As well as we come around the front side of the vehicle, all of our indicators or reflectors are amber in color. They're amber in color on the sides and red in the back. We'll show you that as we go around. One thing here on the side that we also want to check is our battery. This is used for our lift. We store it like that, and it pulls nice out like this. So I want to make sure that this is nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. As well as I don't have any acid buildup, anything here, no frayed wires. This way I know my lift will work. We don't have any issue of this shorting out or causing any sort of electrical fire. And then as I push this back, I want to make sure it locks into place so we are safe and good to go. And as you put these back, twist. So as we're driving down the road, this doesn't fly open, causing distraction, damage, or anything to anyone or any property. As we go around, we're also checking our frame. So underneath, you've got all of our frame down here. We want to make sure that there are no cracks or damages on our frame as we go around the entire vehicle on the outside. Now as we get to this back tire, we've got two back here. We're going to check the same things we checked on the front end, except there's a couple differences. One of them being we've got two in the rear here. So we want to make sure both are the correct pressure, temperature. We're also going to check through. You can kind of see a gap here. You want to make sure that these tires aren't rubbing together, because that can cause a tire fire as you're driving down the freeway. As well as our suspension in the back here. This is a leaf spring suspension. We want to make sure we have no cracks or damages on any of those planks going through, all the way from what we can see in the front to the back. If we have any damages like that, we have to report it to the shop and get those taken care of. As soon as you get to the rear, you'll see that all of these reflectors are in red, and that's what they're supposed to be. And as we come around, we're also checking. These are all secure. Red in color, secure. I've got a light here for my license plate. I want to make sure that light is currently working. Usually you can put your hand up and you can see a little bit of some light coming through there. So I've got all those. I can't reach those, but as well as what we did for the front, you see all the red ones up there. They are functioning. If you can touch it, make sure everything is working. As well as for us, this is not an emergency exit, but we do have to make sure that this door opens and closes and that nothing is obstructing its view, both in and out of the vehicle. And then back here at the bottom, kind of up through the middle, we have our fuel tank. We want to make sure that there are no cracks, damages, or leaks coming from that fuel tank so that we are safe. We don't spill any gasoline or contaminants as we're driving. Doesn't cause a fire, doesn't cause any sort of problems, as well as we have enough gas to get to and from our location as we're transporting our passengers safely. As soon as we've done all of that, that would be the end of our pre-trip.